Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking and subscribing the channel is free and easy, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to go a little farther with your support, I have Patreon and YouTube membership available, which includes access to the BoshNRoll Discord server, early access to things I'm working on, sideboard plans, cards I'm buying. You could have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use the YouTube membership option, you get sweet, unique YouTube badges and emotes for the channel. If you want to play what I'm playing, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support my channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com. And if you're playing on Magic Online, a cardhoarder.com loan account can let you play any deck anytime. If you want to wear your support, there is BoshNRoll merch available. All of these links are in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to another BoshNRoll Legacy video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Samuel, I am playing a Gifts Ungiven Monastery Mentor deck. Samuel was responsible for the Gifts Ungiven deck that I played a couple months ago on the channel. Samuel really likes this card and wants to see this space explored even more. This is a list originally of Samuel's devising that I've done a few minor tweaks to. The main core of the plan here, it's Esper Control. Gifts Ungiven is mostly just a weird divination in the deck. There's some graveyard synergy. There's a bunch of Snapcaster Mages. We got Cling to Dust, Sevinne's Reclamation. But in general, you're just going to wish for 4 cards that you want and be happy with the worst 2 of them. That's the main deck anyway. And in the sideboard, there's a Reanimator deck. So we got Grizzlebrand, Archon, Iona, and then Exhume, Animate Dead, Reanimate, Entomb. There's enough different names that you can get a fatty in the graveyard or get a reanimation spell in your hand as needed. The sideboard plan is pretty robust that you just have Entomb, a bunch of discard outlets as well. So there's a kind of a mid-range reanimator plan in the sideboard. In the main deck, though, we're playing fair. We got Swords of Plowshares, Prismatic Ending, Brainstorm, Ponder, all the things you'd expect, going with Snapcaster Mage, Force of Will, and some Planeswalkers. This is a legacy deck. Monastery Mentor is the primary win condition. And one of the things that I changed was really leaned into Sevinne's Reclamation. Samuel had one. I added a second copy. This is one of the best things you can put in a gifts pile because it's how you end up with the thing that you want guaranteed. And because I leaned into Sevinne's Reclamation, I also leaned into 3-drops. I added Narset to the deck. I added Hull Breacher to the deck. I put a Plague Engineer in the main. There's 2 in the board already. But if we have a tutor package and a reliable way to get it into play, I think this is a card we want some access to in the main deck. Plus, Plague Engineer is one of the only black cards worth casting in Legacy. So if we're in black, I want access to this thing. The numbers in this deck look weird, and they have to because it's a gifts deck, where normally you would just have, 4 Plow, 4 Prismatic Ending. We had to go a little skinnier. There's 1 Drown in the Lock here, 1 of 1 Mind, 1 Force of Negation, 1 Hymn to Turok, 1 Unearth, 1 Thoughtseize, 1 Cling. You have to do that sort of thing to make sure that the Gifts Ungiven can actually find 4 cards when you're looking for them. And that's the plan. This deck, I imagine it will be pretty awkward compared to just a streamlined Legacy deck. But what we're looking for here is if Gifts Ungiven can show up and do the thing that we want it to do, which is crush mid-game situations, just pull ahead on cards. And the transformational sideboard is pretty significant here. We'll be looking to see how often that comes up as well. Let's try it out and get into these games. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a hand that has Swords of Plowshares and basically nothing else. You can Sevinne's Reclamation lands into play, but ramping from 3 to 5 on a empty board is not what I'm looking for. I'm going to mulligan this. All right, I'll take this Brainstorm. The keeping Sevinne's Reclamation versus keeping Gifts is kind of interesting because I'm going to bottom Gifts because it costs 4 and I'm on a 1-lander. But having Rec in your deck to Gifts for versus having the Rec in your hand and Gifts showing up later. Brainstorm and playing 2 Recs both help with that. Oh, there's that creature. We need some lands here. Uh-oh. I'm going to Brainstorm now, which is not what I would normally do. Normally I'd wait till the next turn. Yikes. Okay. Didn't hit a land, not going to hit a land next turn. There are 20 of them in the deck. This is not a land count issue. This is a Brainstorm failed me issue. I brainstormed now because I wanted to control the Ragavan a little bit, what it could hit. But this is not going well. I guess I'll let them have the Force of Negation. They're the Saga version. Gonna get hit here. They have my Force. Throwing the Unearth I can't cast. I should brainstorm now. What am I doing? All right, yeah. Brainstorm does see 3 fresh cards here. Thanks, Ragavan, for helping dig through there. To counter this, I am screwed. Ooh, Force of Will. Yeah, interesting. I don't know if they're a genius or bad. There's only like 2 places that could go. Weird. Maybe I shouldn't have passed through the first main. Like, if I just cast Brainstorm in my first main phase, I wonder if like going into second main told them that I was missing a land drop or gave them that. I wonder if that's exploitable in the future. If I'm just like, have a land drop but move into second main before I cast my cantrip, can I get a Force of Will out of it? They did just steal a Ponder with Ragavan, that sucks. And they even get a Dragon's Rage Channeler trigger out of the deal. If I draw a black land off the top and can cast this Baleful Strix, there might be some game left to play. But we're still facing down this Saga, which is ready to pop. They chose to shuffle their library. Oh, come on, deck. Well, this one fell apart quickly. They're going to make a construct, spending all their treasures. Going to get another construct, probably Retrofitter Foundry here. That's what I'd get. I should concede. I don't actually have a way out of this, and Ragavan getting more information. Right now, all they've seen is Ponder, Brainstorm, and Force of Negation. I'm going to hide. Like, if they attack and, like, flip some other card, like, there are weird cards in my deck, like Of One Mind, Hull Breacher. Like, I don't want them to see that stuff. Okay, I don't think that becoming a Reanimator deck is better against what we're playing against. I think having solid interaction is better. Dress Down and Plague Engineer. I don't really love Plague Engineer. Maybe I don't want that. Force of Negation, I don't need. Don't love Force of Will that much, but I'm going to leave some in the deck just in case. I don't think Cling to Dust is going to show up in this matchup. That's mostly for Uro. Are any of these things actually good for me? I don't think so. I'm going to do this. Just some extra creatures, some extra interaction. Plague Engineer, arriving in play for any amount of time kills Ragavan. It doesn't need to stick around. Okay, there's 2 lands in this hand. I'm going to keep it. Play a Polluted Delta and ship it. This deck is extremely hungry for mana. I am going to want the 3rd land sooner than later. Thoughtseize is interesting. There is a basic swamp in the deck I can fetch. Not sure if they're going to be a wasteland build or not, but I can play around it, so I will. Iteration, DRC, Pyroblast. I'm going to take Iteration. If I rip a land, I get to send them into the Shadow Realm. Come on, deck. There's a lot of them in there. DRC, Scalding Tarn. Take my 1. Come on, deck. Help me out here. Shit. I am going to brainstorm with this land. I'm going to get Tundra. They might Pyroblast, and I'll have to force, but I think the exchange is worth it. That Pyroblast turned out to be really good. It was terrible until I drew Brainstorm instead of a land. Now it's actually good. I'm going to let their Surveils resolve before I do anything else. Forest pitching Snappo. Okay, found a land. The land does not cast Baleful Strix, regrettably. I'll run that land out there, though, and hope they don't make Delirium this turn. Oh no, they're tapping blue mana, shit! They're missing creature in their graveyard. Or if they have artifacts they can play. But that was my window. Now they've brainstormed, they've surveyed a million times, Daze wrecks me. They did mill a Force of Will, which is probably reasonable. Like, that shows they're not really in the market for counterspells right now. They still have not found a creature. The DRCs are still sleepy. They did not shuffle their library. God, another brainstorm. They found an enchantment. Damn it. Shredding through your deck is so good. Like, this deck just does that so hard. And now I'm completely destroyed. I had a window to Plague Wind them into the earth and leave them empty, and just that one window, just perfect card selection. Dig forever. The card underneath, I could play Strix, let it absorb some damage, or I could Brainstorm, try to find a blue source, but that's pretty risky. I'm just going to take the lock, I guess. Guaranteed profits. All right, they're Pyroblasting. They can put me to 2. Yeah, this game came down to, do I have land number 3 or not? And that was the whole game. And they do have Wasteland. Yeah, there's no game left to play here. I have no outs. That was a firm beating. Some mana troubles both game. One of them, like keeping the one lander, not getting there. We on multiple brainstorms, like we can complain about that a little. This one, I think this might have been a fundamental issue with the deck. There's just so many 3-drops in the deck. And I could have drawn Brainstorm, Baleful Strix earlier than the turn I needed my 3rd land. I guess I could hope for that. But yeah, this was kind of clunky on mana. Let's see if the next round goes better. I'm on the play with turn 2 Hymn to Turok, which is a joy I have not felt in a very long time. I'm going to go for it. That does mean I'm probably going to have to fetch Scrub Land with this Blue to Delta to get all my colors online, which means that 2 of the 3 lands that aren't islands in the deck are in play already. Okay, so they're going to Zenith for 0 against some sort of green deck. Could be Maverick or Elves. And by Maverick, I'm also including Green-White Depths. Okay, I'm going to play out the Underground Sea, because that is an island, and like I was saying, there is a Mystic Sanctuary in the deck, and there's 3 lands that are not islands. Let's see if Hymn's any good here. Hit Nettle Sentinel and Zenith. Okay, those look pretty good. This is a great matchup to have that main deck Plague Engineer against. Elvish Viz. And regular land drop. That's not Cradle. I'll take it. Wireward Symbiote. That will get Prismatic Ending immediately. I think I want to Brainstorm. See if I can find a fetch land to turn these basics into some gas. Unsuccessful, but that's okay. I'm going to put Snap and Ending on top. End the Wireward Symbiote. They'll probably pick up Visionary in response. Oh, they didn't. All right. They're trying to keep material in play rather than play a long game, which makes me pretty glad that I have these forces available. Another Viz. They could go Cradle Natural Order right now. Oh, there's Shep. Well, there is another removal spell on top of my deck. That's okay. We're good there. I could also snap him and just bet against the board. That's kind of interesting. If they didn't have Shepherd, I'd be a lot more inclined to do that. Okay, I'm going to ending the Shepherd with the ending in my hand. I can snap Brainstorm in combat and get a trade if I want to do that. I can also hardcast Force of Negation if they just YOLO a Natural Order onto the stack. If they just play out 2 random shitters, I can snap him next turn and get them empty. Oh, backup Shep. All right. They cannot Natural Order with the mana they have available. They can Zenith or Heritage. Okay, they didn't get Heritage Druid. That's good. All right, Elvish Visionary, played, replayed. Snap him is pretty good here. Unless I want to trade with... Yeah, I'm going to trade with this thing. Cast the Brainstorm out of my graveyard, because Prismatic Ending is on top of my deck also. And I need to answer... Oh wait, no, it's not. Snapcaster's on top of my deck also. All right. Someday I'll know what I'm doing. But it's not today. Trade with the Visionary. Do I want Mystic Sanctuary? Is it a card that I even want? All right, I'm gonna put back the forces actually because they are completely useless, and I can't remove the Shep from play anyway because of Symbiote. I can snap him to get them empty, but they do have the Visionary Symbiote combo going. I could just remove the Symbiote, try to keep material out of play. I think that is the line. As satisfying as hemming them there would have been. I'm mostly just treading water until I can maybe one day get my Plague Engineer into play. I'm going to run this land out. I don't know that I'll have time to get another island and then also get that in. And I know I'm going to have 2 forces I can shuffle away with Brainstorm next turn. Visionary's back. Symbiote, jeez. That's the best card in this matchup. Well, Allosaurus Shep and Symbiote are the 2 best cards in this matchup, and they've had multiples of both. They don't have attacks, though. I'll take that. Come on, Plague Engineer. Brainstorm, help me out. Sevinne's Reclamation, Swords to Plowshares. That's actually really good. If I put back Force of Will and land, what happens? Or if I put back, so I can Swords to Plowshares, land drop, Sevinne's Wreck, Swords to Plowshares also, and then just ignore the forces. I think that's the better play. Swords the Symbiote. Right, they did pick up the Visionary rather than protecting the Shepherd. Oh shit. This costs double white. God, I'm an idiot. I don't know how cards work. Is there anything else to do here? I think just wait. I should have left a Force of Negation in my hand this turn. I guess I could Sevinne's Wreck, snap Brainstorm, and then flashback Sevinne's Wreck next turn. But that doesn't give me the... I think maintaining velocity here is fine. I'm going to go for it. Yeah, I just didn't have triple white. Did not account for the fact that that Sevinne's Reclamation is a white card. Just going to Brainstorm now. Draw an extra card, basically. Ooh, that's hot. If I can get where I'm going next turn, I can go Mentor, Ponder, Trigger, draw up 1 mind, which triggers immediately. I'm going to put Ponder in my hand with Mentor under it. If they go off this turn, I'm dead. But if they settle into the grind, I can actually beat the grind with what I'm doing. Drawn a lot of Visionaries here. Haven't seen a Cradle yet. Okay, looks like we're going to get to do some stuff. Play Mentor. Play Ponder. Ponder makes a Monk, which is not a human. And then just going to keep all of these. Don't shuffle. Of 1 mind. Mentor's a human. Monks are not humans. And now I have 2 cards in my hand. And I can attack. The 2/1 is not going to matter if they get to Hoof or activate Shepherd for the trample. So I'm going to push for damage where I can. Yuck. That's a terrifying glimpse when they already have 6 cards in their hand. That'll Sentinels in. And a Zenith for Heritage Druid here. Certainly. Varian Ranger. Alright, I'm just going to F6 and let them go. It's pretty clear I don't have interaction. And I'm not going to. Because they have Allosaurus Shepherd. So waiting for their land drop. If it's Cradle, anything could happen. If it's not Cradle, there is some sort of finite number to their resources this turn, but they're going to get to draw so many cards before they have to make a land drop. 5 cards in hand still. They're already doing all this elf shit. Natural Order is super lethal already. Yeah, there's Natural Order. They have 3 attackers and can untap 1 of the other 2. But they don't even need the... Alright, yeah. Alright. Elves is a terrible matchup for basically any blue deck. Any non-combo blue deck in game 1. And we had the out of the YOLO Plague Engineer. Just didn't get there on it. I think this is a matchup where I want to be a combo deck. See what that looks like. Grizzlebrand Archon are not great. Collective Brutality does kill elves. I guess I just bring in the whole pile if I bring in anything. Plague Engineer is good also. So 14 cards come in. What comes out? Wing to Dust. Let's slow and steady figure out what's coming out here. Hymn to Turok. Baleful Strix. I do like Drown. Sevinne's Wreck comes out. And Sevinne's Wreck for a pile with also Animate Dead is funny, but I don't think that's the play. Teferi's out. Narset and Hullbreach are actually both really good. I think Mentor needs to chill. Force of Will and Negation. I mean, they're a Shepherd deck. I can just shove like this. All of my removal is discard or all of my interaction is a discard or a removal right now. which I think is fine, because counterspells are unreliable like we saw last game. Yeah, I'm going for it. I have 2 gifts, a removal spell. Unearth is not great. I think this hand is too slow. Okay, I am going to keep this one. And I'm going to bottom the Underground Sea. Because I have a bunch of discard outlets in the deck at this point. And I'm going to be looking for those. Drown in the Lock. That hits the opponent. I can set up a Plow, Snap, Plow over the next couple turns and hit my land drops. I think that's good. I'm not going to shuffle. I'm going to keep all these cards. Drown in the Lock can kill Dryad Arbor all the time. That's pretty great. Yeah, there's the Dryad Arbor. But they do have a card in their graveyard, so Drown is getting better. I'm just going to Plow here, because I do want the land that's on top of my deck. That lets me next turn ending plus Drown. A lot of interaction, and then the Snapcaster is waiting in the wings. Heritage D. Birchlore Ranger. How deep do they want to go here? Okay. Oh, there's nothing good to bounce here. Like, there's no Visionary or that kind of thing. And the Symbiote. And then I'm holding up Drown that can kill one of their creatures. I don't want to hold up Drown. I just want to cast Drown. Is that right? Because if I give them a turn, they can tap Birchlore Ranger for mana. If I could just lose to Choke here. Like, I could fetch... I need a blue land, of course. I'm going to get the Scrub land, though. I get Scrub land, Underground Sea, and just hope I don't get choked. I'm going to Drown in the Lock, Birchlore Ranger. That needs fewer resources to get started. Heritage Druid's more explosive, but generally on a low resource board, you want to hit the Birchlore. Myth for 1. Allosaurus Shepherd. Okay, I boarded out all my counter spells, so I feel pretty good about that interaction. And they are down to 1 card in hand. There's a Swords to Plowshares in my graveyard. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm just going to pass the turn. They're just jamming Natural Order. I'm going to let that resolve and see what they get. If they get Archon and name instant, then they got me. But if they get Hoof... Okay. Progenitus, do I have an answer to that? Does Snapcaster do anything here? I'm going to play Snapcaster. Target. I guess Plow is the only thing I got. Could have waited till my turn and pondered. The Progenitus is pretty good. They picked up their Shepherd with Symbiote. If they replay it, I can Plow it. Because they've already used their Shepherd or their Symbiote this turn. I don't care about Symbiote because they don't have elves. Entomb. Does that do anything? I can Entomb Dihada's Ploy. And discard... Where is that card? There it is. Iona to loot. Okay. I'm in. Entomb. Dihada's Ploy. Jumpstart it, discarding Iona. And... Okay. Iona's in my graveyard now. I needed Archon of Cruelty, though. That's the thing that can beat a Progenitus. Oh, they just ran the second Cradle out. You know, that's a legend. Probably not going to matter. I'm going to die in 1 hit here. I think I should have saved this island. The only thing that can save me is like Brainstorm into the nuts, and I don't know that I can nuts with only 1 card. Yeah, okay. Dead to Progenitus. No appearance of Plague Engineer before it was too late. The Iona did sort of rot in the hand, but we can see how that would start to come together with a little more time. The Entomb for Dihada's Ploy was pretty sick value. There's an engine here. We'll uncover it eventually. We're about halfway through the video, so let me just remind you that if you like this deck and you want to try it out, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com, and you can play any deck anytime with cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. These links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in the 3rd round with an extremely functional looking hand. I'm going to keep it. Force cantrips, I can play Baleful Strix on curve. You wouldn't even know from looking at this hand that we're up to some weird stuff. Ponder from the opponent. They did not shuffle. Oh, nice. Drew the basic. I was considering fetching basic, or if I want all my colors available and didn't have to make the choice. the best of all worlds. I'm going to shuffle this. I have 3 lands. I have a mentor. I want some spells. Snapcaster is a good find. Ooh, show and tell. Yikes. They are not messing around. Force pitching Snapcaster. See if this is any good. Wow, their thing was countered. I was not expecting that card to go in the graveyard. Well, Teferi is a good one. If they cast Show and Tell and pass the turn, I can put in Mentor off Show and Tell, and then cast Teferi on my turn, get a trigger, bounce whatever they put in. Their hand is clearly not super interactive. Oh, wow. They were just all in on that thing. It's pretty bad. Thoughtseize. Heartbreaking that I don't have the mana to sneak the Thoughtseize in with the Mentor, but I am gonna... Okay, their hand is Grizzlebrand Mountain. Fetched in the upkeep, so they are drawing wild. Grizzlebrand mystery card over there. Okay, it is time to put my Monastery Mentor into play because I have to get this game over. There's Mentor, let's go. Mentor tells combo decks, it's time for you to win the game right now, ready or not, here I come. And looks like they don't actually have it. I think I want to Teferi pre-combat. I definitely want to cast a spell pre-combat, and I think Teferi is the spell that I want. Alternatives include Sevinne's Wreck, buying back a land, or ending their Lotus Petal. I'm going to bounce Baleful Strix with Teferi. Just play the long game here. And by long game, I mean draw 2 cards. There's not going to be a long game one way or the other. Okay, they conceded. That's lucky, because my hand was actually not good. If they had the combo, they were going to get me. All of these fatties are funny against Show and Tell. I'll move them over. I don't want my own Show and Tell, that's for sure. Dress Down can play against Show and Tell. Do I bring in fatties just to have them? Or I probably need some amount of the reanimation stuff. My spot removal is bad in this matchup. So I can go super skinny on that, or even barter it out completely, and then decide how many slots I have to play with. I like Ploy. I like the Animate Deads. Collective Brutality enables my reanimation and disrupts opponent. That's all good stuff. Plague Engineer sucks. The Planeswalkers are good. Sevinne's Wreck doesn't do much. Cling to Dust doesn't do anything. This is starting to look like I'm just bringing in the reanimation package in its entirety. Exhum's really dangerous because Thoughtseize and Grizzlebrand, or him Dotaraki Grizzlebrand, are things that might happen over the course of the game, and then I can't cast my Exhum. But that's probably okay. Do I have 4 more cards I want to cut? Because right now we have a package here with, it's just like a mild package, but I'm still doing the full Mentor thing. I still like Hull Breacher. Still like Snapcaster. Snapcaster's a lot better if there were some Flusterstorms in this list, but we have the sideboard juke instead. I think I need Entomb to tie the room together, even if I don't go all the way on the rest of this stuff. Baleful Strix is not great. Unearth. Maybe one of the Sevinne's Rex comes out. Maybe all of the Sevinne's Rex comes out. Reanimate in here. Iona, and cut one of the... Gotta make one cut real quick here. Probably Unearth. Okay. With 15 seconds left on the clock, I'll submit this deck. I am going to keep this hand, because this is really fucking funny if they cast Show and Tell. Opponent's on 5. Like, I will just force of will a Show and Tell if it goes on the stack. Or do I try to beat it? Just play my Grizzlebrand and mash? I don't know. That's actually pretty close. I'm going to run Mystic Sanctuary out tapped right now. If they daze, they daze. There's a Caracas in my deck. If they cast Show and Tell and we both put in Grizzlebrand, I have something to draw to that removes their Grizzlebrand from play. I'm going to play Underground Sea. I'm not going to try to brainstorm into my one of Thoughtseize here. That's part of the problem playing the one of Gifts Ungiven package. Like, the consistency obviously is a concern. Okay, I think I want to Force of Will, and they're going to Pyroblast, and then I'll put in my Grizzlebrand. Oh shit, they didn't fall for it. If I get juked here and they follow up with sneak attack, I'm actually in a bunch of trouble. I don't have a good plan for that one. Brainstorm, okay. At the end of their turn, I'll Dihada's Ploy if they don't do something that forces me to act sooner than that. Another show and tell. I'm gonna... Do I brainstorm? Yeah, I'm gonna brainstorm, see if I can find a force. No force here. Okay, this resolves. Please don't put in sneak attack. Bang. Surprise. Okay, I don't need to draw 7 now. That doesn't do anything different than drawing 7 on my own turn. Okay, now I can look for Caracas. Mentor, Narset, Force. I can go to 5, continuing to look for the Caracas. I'll end up discarding a bunch of cards, which I think is okay, because I'm also a Reanimator deck. Pay 7 again. Right, they're paying 7 in response. Okay, let's do this thing. Paying 7 in response seems like kind of a mistake, because now they have to block. Oh, if I had cast Collect Brutality pre-combat, then I don't lose my Grizzlebrand. Oh, I can dress down so neither of us gain any life, and then kill them with Collect Brutality. How many forces are in my hand? 1. Just 1. Okay. Alright, I'll just let these die and then cast Animate Dead. Okay, those are dead. And do I have a white land I can put into play? No, okay. I'll play... I guess I should lead on Animate Dead, huh? Or I could lead on Collective Brutality. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Okay, I'm gonna get a white land. Myself a... Oh, I can't do that. Damn it, that had to be Scrubland. Now I can't Brutality them. Pat, why didn't you stop me? You gotta yell at me about this stuff. I'm sure the comments will be very kind, though. Okay. Played bad. Here's Animate Dead. Yeah, pre-combating that Collective Brutality would have been insane. Disappointed I missed that line. I'm not used to combat tricks in 7-7 on 7-7 combat. Brainstorming here is interesting. What are they looking for that they don't already have? Wow, a counterspell. So that means their hand is full of payoffs, I guess. Should I brainstorm? What does that do? No, I can brainstorm anytime. Okay, I'm just going to go to my cleanup step. Discard some of these extra lands. Land. And discard Dihada's Ploy. I think my hand has enough cards in it already. I'm not going to Gifts this game. I need my force. I can discard Iona. I might still want Dress Down. Mentor, Strix. Another land. Gotta discard one more. It's probably Collective Brutality at this point. I missed my window for that one. Okay, 2 forces in hand. I can draw more cards. I can put in Dress Down on a show and tell. They have 16 cards in hand, though. I can draw 7. They put Sneak Attack on the stack. I'm going to have to commit to a giant fight over that. Oh, yuck. Well, I'm going to have to fight over that, too. Force of Negation. Pitching. My Strix, I guess. No, pitching Brainstorm. Strix could still come in off show and tell or be relevant in combat against Emrakul. I'm going to draw 7 in response to this Pyroblast. See if I can find some more forces. I found Drawn and Lock. Would have been great if I fetched for black last turn like I was supposed to. I guess I brainstorm here. Let's keep looking. Found Entomb. Okay. Again, no black mana to cast that with. Reanimate, Thoughtseize. Yeah, none of those are helpful. I will cast the Force on Defense Grid. Pitching, Gifts Ungiven. Caracas has still not appeared. They spend much more mana fighting over the grid. Okay. Please don't have Sneak Attack. Shit! Alright, I'm dead anyway. Guess I could still brainstorm. And see one fresh card. Come on, Force. 3rd card down. No love. Just that Collective Brutality winking at me again. Okay. Dead to Emrakul. Bummer. Alright. Yeah, we're dead. That was a close one. I definitely messed up. Fetched wrong. Missed a sweet line. beat Grizzlebrand with a combat trick. Okay. I don't think they're going to be in a hurry to shove Show and Tell on the stack again. We've seen Defense Grid, which makes Prismatic Ending a little more appealing. I don't know what I'd cut to make room for Prismatic Ending, though. My cards are all pretty good. Could shave a Mentor for that. Mentor does get the game over pretty quickly, but so does Grizzlebrand and Archon of Cruelty. So I'll try that. Just gonna put in one Prismatic Ending. Just something to look for if they get a grid down. My hand contains Caracas and Brainstorm. I'm gonna keep it. Would have been happier with Thoughtseize, Hymn to Turok, etc. But Caracas is a nice insurance policy for a little while. And I think they're going to take their time on just shoving Gifts onto the stack, or Show and Tell onto the stack based on what happened last game. Unless they have Omniscience, in which case, dead anyway. Gonna Brainstorm, then Ponder here. This is pretty high velocity opening hand. Strix and Drown, I like both of those. Of One Mind, I'm a long way away from that. Like, I have Snap and Strix in hand, which are creature, non-creature, but that is not the speed this game is going to go. I think I'm going to bury Snapcaster for a little while, too. Kind of like working my way up to the gifts. Though Snap Brainstorm in an end step is pretty powerful. Fine. Sorry, Gifts Ungiven. You're out. I should be respectful of Blood Moon, which is sometimes a thing that's in decks like this, so I am going to fetch a basic land. That was a really good Ponder. Found 2 pieces of interaction. So I can Force of Negation a thing, Thoughtseize them next turn, and if Show and Tell just resolves through my Force this turn, I can put in Caracas, which is not nothing. Okay, I can Thoughtseize and hold up Drown in the Lock. Snap Thoughtseize next turn. If their hand's bad, I could just play Strix right now. Well, their hand's not bad. We have Arcane Artisan, Omniscience, Show and Tell, and Sneak Attack. No monster. The Omniscience is terrifying. I'm going to take Omniscience here, I think. They can't currently interact, but they have Ponder, Brainstorm to get there. Yeah, I'm going to take the... I could take Show and Tell, which makes Omniscience bad, too. They probably play more Show and Tells than Omnisciences, though. And I just want to make it look like my Show and Tell's better for me than it is for them. I'm going to play Strix this turn, actually. Just the texture of their hand makes me think I have time to do that. Black, blue, your Strix. I mean, end step Brainstorm, untap, Ponder changes their hand a lot. But I do have some interaction. Oh, they didn't Brainstorm in the end step. Wow. Yeah, casting Ponder here means that they either didn't have their third land, or if they find a third land that's not a soul land, then they can't play any of the important cards in their hand anyway. Yeah, that was a good Strix. Snuck that one in there. Here's the ending. I'm planning on Snap Thoughtseizing this turn. I'll start with the Snapcaster and see what happens. If they Red Blast this, then I'll just Collective Brutality them instead. Thoughtseize. Seize you. I don't think I need to play around Daze here. They can Brainstorm to hide good cards. Spell Pierce. Alright. Couldn't pay for that anyway. Attack with my Strix. That's a little risky because it can block Grizzlebrand, but I'm about to play Caracas, which can also block Grizzlebrand. We have perfect information about their hand again. We know it's... Okay, now the Brainstorm changes our information. Don't really want to have to force this turn because Drown in the Lock is really good. If I can Brutality them and hold up Drown in the Lock next turn, that's a good position. If I draw land, I can Brutality them, hold up Force of Negation instead. It's even better. Because they have Arcane Artisan, so Force of Negation's not inherently better than Drown. They're just different things. I have Prismatic Ending if they go for the... Oh, look at this. Non-creature spells can't be countered. Alright, yeah, sure. There's this creature. That's pretty cool. I can collect Brutality that. What's the disturb cost? It costs 3 to put this thing back into play. Alright. Is it a legend? Nope. Alright. Good to know. Gifts Ungiven. Is it time? They can counter my Collective Brutality if I cast it. I could just attack. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I'm gonna attack, and I'm gonna cast Gifts in the end step, unless they do something about it. Okay, they're trading this off. Looks like they want to disturb their thing back in. I can kill that creature and counter a spell. Surprise. Collective Brutality only takes instants and sorceries. Non-creature spells can't be countered. Okay, resolves. See if they want to fight over Gifts in the end step. First appearance of Gifts Ungiven. Here we go. Okay, Force Pitching Show and Tell was the play. I can't counter that, so I won't. And now we maneuver into the position that I set up over the last couple turns, which is Collective Brutality escalate for discard mode and -2/-2 mode. Guess they might not have an instant or sorcery, but checking their hand is still worth doing. Kill your creature, discard Prismatic Ending. Arcane Artisan, Sneak Attack, Lotus Petal, sure. I'm going to attack with my Strix. They could play Sneak Attack, and then on a future turn, Sneak Attack Arcane Artisan, and because it has haste, activate it right away, and make a permanent Emrakul. But none of that's very good. The bad news is that my clock is terrible. Good news is I can counter this now, and then hold out Force of Negation on the hard cast on future turns. And they still have to navigate this Karakas. Lotus Petals in play. Ooh, that's a good one. Attack. And then blue, white. I'm going to play Teferi. And I'm going to bounce Strix. If I draw a land, I'll replay Strix. Okay. I can hit Strix to force if I need to this turn. Hope it doesn't come to that. Do still have my land drop for the turn. If I think that's important. Brainstorm's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to draw for turn, make my land drop. Even if they do get the the sneak attack in this turn, they can't really activate it. All right. They were certainly right to cast it on a turn where it would cost me everything to counter it. I'm just going to pass. I'm not going to do a partial value brainstorm on a board state this precarious. Like, we're basically in classic control versus combo top deck mode. Who's going to bust out first? Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I don't really care about it, but it is fun. Okay, brainstorm, please help me. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm 1 away from Archon. I can him to Turok them to completely empty. That's really good. I'm going to put back Archon and Brainstorm, and then him them to 0. They had an Emrakul, so there goes their whole graveyard. Make sure to activate Teferi. And I'm running my land out there. Hardcast Archon of Cruelty is the plan now. Plus Teferi again. Guess I should Brainstorm now, because yeah, if I use the Brainstorm... Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, Snapcaster is actually bad because there's a Cage in play. But I can remove Cage next turn, and in the meantime, Hullbreacher is a monster. Please draw a Brainstorm. Please draw a Brainstorm. When it lands out there. I'm going to deploy my Hullbreacher, just get the beats in. A bounce Cage. Get paid on my Snapcaster. In for 3 with the Breacher. I think I just want to snap Ponder. Oh no, I want to snap Gifts Ungiven. What am I saying? No, that doesn't matter because they have Cage in hand. Yeah, it's just Ponder. Sorry, Gifts. Oh, there's another one. And I can back up Narset. No shuffles there. Planeswalker Crew's coming in. I'm leaving the Karakas up. Force of Will, Ponder. I actually want Ponder. Fuck Force of Will. Not worried about their deck. They can't win off one card. I guess unless that card is Brainstorm, but I have Hullbreacher in play, so it's not... No, they can't win off one card. And they're done. Okay. We beat Show and Tell. We're on the board. Let's keep it rolling. On the draw in the 4th round with a 1-land Brainstorm hand. This hand punished us in round 1, but I think it would be results-oriented to not keep this hand. Uh-oh. Oh, we're against Oops All Spells, it appears. And creatures in play. Do they have one more mana source to go with it? They do. Okay. So they had the turn 1 win. Let's just look at their deck and then concede. right, what do you got over here that I need to know about? They have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they have the Pact Mitigations. There's Cabal Therapy that they can play. They have the one bridge from below. I wish Magic Online would sort this alphabetically for me, but it just doesn't. They have 4 Narc Amoebas. They do have the one bridge from below, yeah. And the Dread Return. And the Thassa's Oracle. Okay, I'm not going to give them a chance to look at my hand. Just going to concede. Bummer. They went straight in on a no protection turn 1 on the play. Guess that's what you do, but good stuff. Dress Down comes in. I like Collective Brutality. If we get a turn 2, it plays, so in for that. I don't think the rest of this stuff matters, though I might want things like Dihada's Ploy just to... because removal is not good. There are cards I actively don't want in the deck right now. And there are things like removal spells. I guess if I Iona black, they can't win, so maybe I should... if I'm cutting removal spells, Plague Engineer, naming Illusion can kill all their Narc Amoebas, but they do have the bridge, so they'll just get zombies to replace them. That's not a real card. Animate, Reanimate. Don't really want to Exhume. So I guess if they have anything in their graveyard, they're going to win anyway. Hymn's good. Unearth is fine, I guess. I think the Sevinne's Rex are too slow here. I do still like Mentor, though staying alive is really all that matters. I don't think I like Show and Tell, because if I Show and Tell and they just put in Balustrade Spy, they could win. But if, like, the only thing I can put in that beats that is Iona. So that's not a play. Fling to Dust, actually really good here. I think this is what I want to be doing. Just a light Reanimator package with the one fatty that shuts down their deck. And then my Dress Down and removal spells. Or discard spells. Maybe I should have made room for Grizzlebrand in there as well. Just because he's just good. And drawing 14 should stack up pretty well. Well, can't keep this one. I will definitely keep this one. And I'm going to send, I think, Collective Brutality to the bottom. I want my lands. If I bottom a land, then I can't cast Brutality anyway. Yeah, I'm bottoming Brutality. Just keep the double force. Hope they don't have Cabal Therapy, I guess. If they do, I'll force it pitching of one mind. They kept 7. So it's probably good. Undercity Informer with a Spirit Guide. Force pitching of one mind. They didn't pact. Okay. It's going back in for another round. Now it's a question of if their hand has a second wave, or doesn't look like it. Should I Snapcaster and start beating? That's actually close. I don't think it's time for that yet, though. Oh, I'm a land away from this Gifts Ungiven. Let me have it. I'm not going to start beating. Ugh. All right, getting awkward, but that makes Gifts pretty good. They're back up to 7 cards in hand. Please don't do more stuff. Thoughtseize shit. And that's just going to take Force of Will. So by forcing it, I would lose 2 cards, but they get information. Yeah, whatever. Just take it. Come on, deck. Help me out here. Yes, okay. I have the Gifts Ungiven. If I survive this turn, I can Gifts for Force of Will, Force of Negation, but I think that's all that I have. There's no, like, Surgical Extraction I can get. I'm a mana short of putting Cling in the pile. Shit, we're dead. Elvish Spirit Guide in the zone. Ball Ritual. Turn Timber Symbiosis. Oh, this is a YOLO. Alright. I'm going to Gifts in response, see what they want to do about it. I think I should get the... I think I want a Tundra. That gives... Oh no, I want Underground Sea for double black. I'll Gifts in response. Turn Timber Symbiosis, that's fucking crazy. Alright. Cards that I will put in my hand are... or the cards I'll choose for the pile. I think it is... and it doesn't matter. Like, I can't get Force. If there was a single Surgical Extraction in the deck, I'd be able to get paid here. Basically, I can decide what 2 cards I want in my hand, because they can't pick Force or Force. Like, these 2 cards go straight to the graveyard. Force of Will, Force of Negation, and how much mana do I have? 4. That's not enough to Dihada's Ploy. I guess I'll get Entomb in the pile and Cling to Dust. Yeah, I'll just make this pile and hope that they miss. I think that's all I can do. This guarantees the win next turn, but gotta survive this turn. Okay, here we go. Yeah, they missed. Okay. We showed them my secrets that I'm also a Reanimator deck, but that's okay. They can get a peek as long as they promise to lose. That shows them I don't have surgical extraction they need to worry about, or else I would have put it in the pile. So I did give them a bunch of information there. I'm going to add Grizzlebrand to the stack for the reasons I described. Maybe... No, I'm not going to make room for the show and tell. I think that's wrong. Just full wrong. Narset is blue, which is worth something to me. Their deck doesn't really draw cards. The fairy's pretty good. Yeah, I'll cut a mentor. Alright, gotta survive a turn or two. It's the name of the game. I have a force I'm keeping. It's the opposite force, so if they Cabal Therapy, I think they'll choose wrong. I could just go after this. I'm going to. Because if I don't counter this, then they could just go Creature, Exile, Spirit Guide, win. Force Negation doesn't counter their payoffs the way that it would against, like, Charbelcher. Now my hand is empty, but at least I'm not dead. Snapcaster, okay. It's not nothing, as they say. I don't think Snapcaster beats are going to get there. I don't think they will ever get there. Mentor beats, though. Alright. I was dead anyway. If you have it, you have it. Shit. Hopefully they were just doing that to avoid going to discard. We're dead. I was definitely right to counter the Dark Ritual, though, because this Force Negation would have just been embarrassed by this line, but ended up beating me anyway. And there's Oracle, just making sure that their graveyard is actually capable of winning the game. Even if the Dread Return is in their hand, they can Cabal Therapy themselves. That's most of the reason it's in the deck. Yeah, the Dread Return is here, though. I see it. Alright, yeah, we're dead. Got oopsed. This is a matchup where the gifts package and the way you have to build your deck for the gifts package matters a lot. It doesn't matter as much in some places, but the fact that we have Drown in the Lock and Of One Mind and this like weirdo selection of cards instead of just like 6 forces and then some sideboard bangers. I mean, you could construct your sideboard differently. I don't have surgical extraction over there. There's no like Grafdigger's Cage. Like, I'm just not really focused on the graveyard because my plan for the sideboard plan is dedicated to the transformation. So we don't really have a functional sideboard in the traditional sense, which would help a lot. But if this was just like an Esper Mentor deck without trying to make the deck fit a Gifts Ungiven pile, we would have 5 or 6 forces to help here and probably a better discard suite also. But is what it is. On to the final round. I am on the draw in the 5th and final round. I'm going to keep this perfect hand. 2 Brainstorms, 2 Mentors, 3 lands to cast it all. Sign me up. We're obviously dead if this is Oops All Spells again. But if it's any normal deck, we're in business. Uh-oh. If it's a Chalice of the Void deck, we're not in business anymore. For a Monolith. Manifold Key. Okay, they have 4 mana. Scary. We'll turn 1 Karn. No problem there. Tough. They just plussed Karn. That's good news. Drown in the Lock. All right. I don't think that's going to find many targets. I ran out the fetch land so they can't start blocking me out with the liquid metal coating right away. They're a mana short to lattice me. If they do try to lattice me, I can brainstorm in response. YOLO, look for the counterspell. They're making a wish with Karn. You got Trinisphere. That's a good one. I suppose I'm brainstorming in response to that. You get Underground Sea. Brainstorm. Splat. Okay. Mystic Sanctuary doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't, none of this matters. The only game that I have to play here is just hit my land drops and hope I don't lose by then. But if they can wish for Liquid Metal Coating this turn, play it, Rashad and Port me, untap, start blowing up lands. Yeah, this is a hard lock if they play it correctly. They went for Lattice. Oh, because of Urborg. All right, yeah. I thought they were mana short, but because of Urborg, they can actually Lattice me right now. Okay, no, you're good. Yeah, we're done. There were multiple deterministically lethal lines there. Okie dokie. Well, this is awkward because I don't want to board into a combo deck against the deck with Trinisphere in it, and I guess they probably don't have Chalice of the Void because they're a key deck. And these creatures don't line up particularly well against what they're doing anyway. I think the fair deck is the better deck here. Is there a small reanimation package I'm interested in? Like Grizzlebrand's still Grizzlebrand, and Archon of Cruelty can, in fact, remove Karn, which is not something the deck's otherwise good at. Cling to Dust probably doesn't matter. Thoughtseize is good. Unearth could be good. Sevinne's Wreck I don't think we'll have time for. Plague Engineer is probably not good. So Dihada's Ploy, Grizzlebrand, Entomb, Animate Deads, Exhume, Reanimate. Do I want to go that far? I don't think I want Show and Tell. I don't know what fucked up stuff is in their deck. They showed me Eye of Ugin. If I play Show and Tell and they put an Ulamog, I'm going to feel real bad about it. Of One Mind, Hull Breacher. If they are an Echo of Eons deck, Hull Breacher and Narset are complete bangers. If they're not that, then they're not so good. I think Of One Mind can chill. Sevinne's Wreck can chill. I'll leave one in there. We can put it in a reanimation pile. And Drown in the Lock actually seems really bad. They're not going to have a lot of cards in their graveyard, probably. On the play, I have Entomb and nothing to go with it. No counterspell, no disruption of any kind. I'll mulligan this. This is worse. Chip it. Oh my god. Alright, I'll keep. Just because I don't want to go any lower. I don't think they're going to mess with my mana base. Other than Trinisphere. Here we go. For a Monolith Sin. This is going to be a quick one, team. Another Monolith. Manifold Key. Alright. They have 5 mana to work with right now. Thought Not Seer. Come on. I mulled to 5. Give me a break. Yep, boarded out all my Swords to Plowshares also. Let's hope they take the gifts. So they could probably look at their hand and understand the game's not going to go 4 turns. Yeah, they took the Ploy. Brutal. They couldn't take me off blue cards entirely. Oh, great. Alright. Drew. Isn't the card I bottomed? No, that couldn't have been. It must have just been a card I mulliganed in a different mulligan. This would be a time to have Show and Tell in the deck. Unfortunately, I did not do that. And they're pretty confident the coast is clear to do whatever they want here. Yeah, there's Karn. Yeah, this is a quick one. These are the sort of matchups where being a blue cantrip-based control deck is usually good because you get a lot of free interaction. You get your counter spells, you get your discard spells, cantrips to smooth the game out. But because we're doing this gifts thing, the deck is not as smooth as it would otherwise be. Oh god, they got Candelabra. I feel like they're showing off. Could have won the game easily without that. That's okay. I respect it. That'll teach you. Maybe they'll cast Show and Tell. This would be a great hand to have Dihada's Ploy in. Just saying. Yeah, they have 6 mana here. They can get the Lattice if they want it. They can actually get Lattice and play around Days if they use their Candelabra. Because Ancient Tomb does net 1 if you tap it and then untap it. They found the line. Oh yeah. Yep. We're done. Final thoughts about this deck. Obviously, Samuel wants to play Gifts Ungiven, and nothing but respect for having a card that you like and want to play. If you wanted to actually play an Esper Mentor deck, I would not construct it in this fashion. The weird numbers in the removal and interaction suite. Like that's what suffers here. The cantrips you're just going to play the most of. There are 3 mentors like you're supposed to have, but the cantrips and interaction, or the interactive suite, is where you have to put your weird numbers to support gifts, like 1 Thoughtseize, 1 Hymn to Turok, 1 Force of Negation, 3 Force of Will. That's not the best. The Planeswalkers, if this was just a smooth deck, I would probably have 2 Narset or 2 Teferi, not split them. Samuel's original list did have a Liliana of the Veil in it, which is removal and also a way to get your monsters into the graveyard post-board, which is a cool thing that I ended up having to cut. I just had to make room for other things that I thought Hull Breacher and Narset would be better than Liliana, and maybe that's not true. Maybe it is. Maybe we'll never know. But I made some decisions there based on what I expected to play against, and I did not expect to play against Oops All Spells, but the cards I brought in are also irrelevant against Oops All Spells. Liliana probably would have been more helpful in that last round if I could have removed the Thought-Knot Seer, gotten a redraw, but Teferi could have bounced it for a redraw as well. Narset just comes with redraws attached. I don't know. We are not winning that match with what they drew. If I were to play this deck, I think that the Gifts Sevinne's Reclamation package is interesting. I think that is worth exploring more. Just having some cool 3-drops. Maybe you don't need all 3 mentors. Maybe you could get away with 2 if you have 2 Rex, and then you have the Breacher and then a bunch of 3-mana Planeswalkers. Maybe get the Liliana back in here, cut a mentor, and lean into the Gifts Sevinne's thing. I would want to find the 4th Force of Will, or at least a 2nd Force of Negation. Like, I want 5 forces in the deck. If you do want to diversify their names, probably cut Unearth and one of the Snapcaster Mages to find another spot for Force. And I think where the deck really kind of falls apart is the transformational sideboard, because this main deck's fine. These are all defensible legacy spells. Esper Mentor has been a deck in Legacy's past. It's still fine now. But I think if you just replace the transformation stuff with just good Esper control cards and just use gifts as a value engine with Sevinne's Reclamation, I think you'll get more bang for your buck out of that construction of the deck instead of this one. Those are my thoughts on that. Samuel, thank you for having me play this deck. I like pushing the boundaries of deck building and what Legacy players are doing. The Legacy card pool is huge, and I like seeing some cards that we don't normally see. Gifts Ungiven, great thought experiment, forces you to think about cards with different names, what other 3-drops can we play, all that sort of stuff. And that is a lot of fun. This league wasn't super successful, but I think we learned some important lessons. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.